Never works.
I move we return to open session.
Second.
Second.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Aye.
I move we adjourn the closed session.
Second.
Moore.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Capron.
Aye.
Gregg.
Aye.
Moore.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Waters.
Here.
Capron.
Here.
Gregg.
Here.
We stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Margaret and Deb.
Lisa,
You just got me.
how we doing the voting?
Is that you? Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Said one of the others. We're glad to have you here for a proclamation that reads, whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects people of all races, ages, income levels, lifestyles, and sexes, and in fact is probably affecting someone you know. And whereas 1 in 3 women will be a victim of violence in their lifetime, domestic violence violates an individual's human rights by destroying dignity, security, self-worth due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control or abuse. And whereas in Siouxland, the Council on Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence is available 24 hours a day, and last year responded to nearly 2,000 unduplicated victims, providing 12,768 nights of shelter to 425 adults and 331 children fleeing domestic abuse, despite high census that no one in an unsafe situation was turned away. Whereas the impact of domestic violence affects all the members of our community, and only a coordinated community response will put a stop to this atrocious crime and assure funding is continually available to provide these life-saving services. Now therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2017 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Sioux City, and urge all our citizens to actively participate in the scheduled events, programs, and to think about the fact that it is someone you know. I'd like to present this to you. Thank you for your good work, and say a few words if you would.
Thank you. You know, the statistics related to domestic violence are really staggering. And as we know from yesterday, our nation, our society has become very violent. Here in Iowa, about every 6 weeks, a woman dies because of domestic violence. That's probably even more frequent because all of the deaths that occur are not classified as domestic violence. They may be related to something else. The women who are at the greatest risk of domestic violence are those between the ages of 20 and 24. However, we have served at CSADV victims, children, adults from age 18 all the way to seniors as old as 70. More than 80% of victims of domestic violence are women, and 75% of the people who commit domestic violence are male. You may not realize this, but domestic violence is the leading cause of homelessness to women and children in the United States. You know, CSADV began 40-some years ago with a simple mission: helping women escape violent situations. We have been here for years, aiding women and men as well to escape abusive homes, to escape abusive relationships, help them to find refuge, help them to set goals to establish a life free of violence, and also assist them to find safe housing in our community. We are available 24/7, and there is no charge for our services. There is no waiting list. We are never full. And by that I mean anyone who is in an unsafe situation, we will make sure that they are not turned away from shelter. I just want to give you an example of what happened this very weekend. We had 51 women and children seeking shelter. We had no beds available in our shelter. After Friday, we used 2 hotels, and we asked another shelter to provide shelter to another family. That's how intent we are in making sure that everyone who is in an unsafe situation finds safe shelter. I'm just going to end by saying many of you know that we added another building to our agency, and I've passed out cards for you and invite you to come by the 4th Tuesday of the month and help us in our ribbon cutting and take a look at our administrative and outreach offices. If anybody needs help, we have an 800 number that's available 24/7, answered by a human person, and that number is 1-800-982-7233. Thank you very much for the proclamation.
Thank you for all your good work.
Yes, thank you.
It's like the 14th one of those I've read in my tour of duty, and unfortunately, I said it's like the 14th time I've read that proclamation, and unfortunately, the problem's not gotten better, it's gotten worse. That's the sad part. Keep up the good work.
Bob, before you, I got something to say. I'd like to welcome a couple people, very good friends of mine that have come from far and wide. Tom Johnson, he's from LA, and Mary Julius is from Dallas. And they came here especially to see us at the city council. Now, isn't that special? I mean, they traveled all this way to come and see how we handle things.
Things must be slow back home, huh? Yeah, glad to have you here. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda, which today is items 2 through 12D, I'm sorry. Consider them passed unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is asked for by a council member. You want to speak on any item on the agenda, please come up as I read it. State your name and address for the record. You want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns and again, state your name and address for the record. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
2 is a reading of the city council minutes of September 25th, 2017. 3 is a motion approving the library board of trustees fiscal year 2017 annual report.
Mayor, I just want to point out couple of things on the report that I think are significant. They talked about 119 volunteers donated 2,297 hours of service to the library during the year. And checking out of items and materials, and program attendance has been up 10%. And public use of computer logins is up 9% from the previous year. So it's very active, and again, it works because it's so many volunteers that help out.
4 is a resolution accepting a grant from Iowa Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
A couple of observations on that, just real quick. I'm intrigued by this program, and I would like to ask Chief Everett just a couple of questions I have. There are 2 cities involved with this. It's been in place since 2003, and you make reference to Cedar Rapids. Are there other Iowa cities that are involved in this?
There are other Iowa cities involved in other aspects of Iowa's Homeland Security program, but it is only Sioux City and Cedar Rapids that's involved with the Urban Search and Rescue Team.
And how does that work? And what do we do? What will we need to do if called upon?
Well, just a brief, when you contacted me, and I put together just a brief summary, council member. After 9/11, the federal government wanted to create a more robust response force throughout the United States for natural and other types of disasters. So in 2003, as you alluded, the Iowa Department of Homeland Security selected Sioux City and Cedar Rapids to be sponsoring agencies for Iowa's Urban Search and Rescue Team, which is known as Iowa Task Force 1. And that is funded with federal pass-through grant dollars. The purpose of the team is to respond first in the state, then regionally, and also federally as requested, with a mission of heavy search and rescue when local searches are exceeded, when local resources are exceeded for disasters and approved missions. For example, the team has responded to the Cedar Rapids flood, the Oakville, Iowa flood, the Blencoe, Iowa flood, the Mapleton, Iowa, the Blencoe, Iowa Boy Scout tornado, Joplin, Missouri tornado, Council Bluffs flood, New Hartford, Iowa flood, Rock Valley flood, and Denison, Iowa river search. And that is with 37 of our active members in Sioux City, 22 of which are Sioux City Fire Rescue members, and 15 which are non-Sioux City Fire Rescue members, all of which volunteer their time until they're deployed. It's a very highly trained team, and it's a massive equipment cache dispatched by state at no cost to Sioux Cityans. They can bring their resources into pre-stage or be called out for heavy rescue, technical rescue, structural collapse events, technical search, water operations, and logistics support. So I hope that answers a few of your
It
questions.
does, thank you,
You
Chief.
bet. And then I have some brochures from the team that I'll pass out.
Oh,
I
excellent.
have one question, Chief, because you didn't really answer my email that I sent you as in-depth and as you did Councilman Moore's. I'd like, once in a while we get surprised with like one of those machines that go in water and on land and all those sort of things that we have used now probably twice since you got it.
Yes, sir.
So is there any of those surprises in the $71,000? That was the question I asked you, and I didn't get a very good answer from you. I hate to tell you that, but.
I didn't understand that was the premise of your question.
Yeah, well, I
Not to
said, are
my-
there any new toys that you're planning on with the money? I thought you would understand what I meant.
No, not to my knowledge. It's all replacement type items. I believe that there's one or two vehicles that they're replacing, but nothing new as far as anything that we don't already have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
5 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporarily closing Douglas Street from 6th to 7th, October 6th, 2017 for the Fallen Firefighter Memorial Event. B is a resolution temporarily closing Main Street from West 6th to the cul-de-sac, October 7th, 2017 for the Girls Inc. Fall Festival and Golf Ball Drop Fundraiser. 6 are actions relating or adopting construction documents. A is a resolution rejecting all bids received for the airport roadway reclamation project and ordering the return of bid bonds. When did this actually bid? I never did understand that either, Mr. Carney.
Eric Jones, civil engineer. This bid on July 18, 2017.
Okay. B is a resolution adopting plans and specifications for channel improvements South St. Aubin to Lincoln Way project. I sent you and Mr. Sims an email today. Will this project, Dave, qualify for that? Will that qualify, do you think? For that Iowa nutrient deal?
I'll have to review that with Mark. I haven't had a chance today. We had interviews today.
Well, my concern is we're doing projects that probably qualify, and we are gonna wait till we have to have those projects, but we can begin to get credit for them now, and I wanna make sure we're doing that. I know that mall project will qualify, there's no question. 'Cause
Well, I
you're
think we are getting, that is funded through that,
No, there's a big difference between funding through the SRF and getting these projects on the Iowa Nutrient Exchange Program. There's a huge, huge difference. You've got to go through the state, like the information I gave you. Just because you're getting SRF money doesn't mean that down the road you'll get credit for that. If you don't ask for the credit, you won't get credit for it.
I'll double check with Mark and make sure we
Okay.
get you an answer.
7 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution granting a permit to Fibercom to operate underground cable near 3rd and Iowa Streets and Floyd Boulevard. B is a resolution approving a contract to Rasmussen Mechanical Services for the City Hall Air Handler Unit Replacement Project. 8 is actions authorizing the issuance of checks. A is a resolution authorizing a settlement of a tort claim and authorizing payment. B is a resolution rescinding resolution number 2017-0835, authorizing final payment to Bainbridge Construction for the West 28th Street Storm Sewer Project. C is a resolution approving change order number 1 and authorizing final payment to Bainbridge Construction for the West 28th Street Storm Sewer Project. 9 are actions relating to property. A is a resolution accepting the offer of sale of land from Matthew and Jessica Tank for the wastewater treatment plant asset resolution, setting dates of public hearing on amendment number 1 to the combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal plan. C is a resolution setting dates for a public hearing on amendment number 1 to the Donner Park urban renewal plan. D is a resolution setting dates for a public hearing on amendment number 1 to the combined Floyd River urban renewal plan. 10 is purchasing. A is a resolution awarding a purchase order to FISO Control for the purchase of defibrillators for the fire department. B is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Lift Solutions for the purchase of 1 forklift. 11 is applications for beer liquor license. See the list, come forward if you have any questions. 12, receipt of minutes, come forward if you have any questions. Anybody to be heard on any of those items? How are we voting today? Yes, sir.
Item 11A1 on Briarcliff University, I need to abstain on that conflict of interest. Item
11A1.
11A1 on the special Class C liquor license. This is working?
That's what we hear.
Is that what they said?
Mhm.
How'd you do?
I don't know.
Passes 5-0 to 1, or 5-0. 13 is a hearing and resolution, an ordinance vacating the alley at 1314 West Third Street. Petitioner 1314 West Third LLC, P and Z recommends approval. First consider passed September 25th, 2017. I'll move second reading.
Second.
Anyone to be heard?
Jesus.
4-0, 1, Mr. Moore abstains. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Good luck.
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Capron?
Aye. It's
Greckin?
not- I did that already.
Aye.
Moore?
Abstain?
I'll move third reading.
Second.
Bingo.
Passes 4-0 to 1, Mr. Moore abstains. 14 is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 1314 West Third Street. Petitioner 1314 West Third LLC, P and Z recommends approval. First consideration passed on September 25th, 2017. I'll move second reading.
Second.
Well, it's still not working the best here.
Was it yours?
Hmm.
Pushed the button too soon, I can tell. I didn't have time to see.
I pushed it 3 times after that, as Nicole just witnessed, but anyway. It passes 4-0 to 1. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Waters?
Aye.
Capron?
What happened to the electric thing here?
Can't do it on second and thirds.
Oh, should know that. Aye.
Greckin?
Aye.
Moore?
Abstain?
Scott?
Aye. I'll move third reading.
Second.
Okay, now watch.
Wait till it
Watch
lights
it.
up.
You watch.
Okay, now you can vote. It takes the human. I gotta catch up.
Am I right, Nicole?
Still blinking.
Push it, hold it.
I did. It's not my first rodeo here.
Kids, go to your room.
I've been here before.
Yeah, right.
Passes 4-0 to 1. Mr. Moore again abstains. 15 is a hearing and ordinance vacating a portion of Rebecca Street at 1314 West 3rd Street. Petitioners 1314 West 3rd LLC. First consideration passed September 25th, 2017. I'll move second reading. Passes 4-0, 1. Mr. Moore abstains. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
How can you abstain in all this?
I'll
What's
move it.
going on?
It's all the same project,
Okay.
13 through
I
16.
thought maybe a,
No, it's all,
Statutory rule, so thank you very much.
Waters?
good job.
We all
Aye.
stay longer.
Aye.
Greckin?
aye.
Moore?
Abstain?
Scott?
Aye. I move third reading.
Second.
We have to be somewhere at 6.
Passes 4-0 to 1. Mr. Moore abstained. 16 are resolution granting a temporary easement property at 1314 West 3rd Street. Petitioners 1314 West 3rd LLC, deferred from September 25th, 2017. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 4-0. 1, Mr. Moore abstained. 17 is a hearing and resolution accepting the proposal of Paul and Sandra Gorski for land in the Donner Park Urban Renewal Area property at 5100 Sunnybrook Drive. I'll move it.
Second.
Third vote on 16. I have a conflict on this one. Oh,
Me?
No.
Councilman Judkin.
Mr. Moore once again abstained, so it passes 4-0 to 1.
He doesn't want to play today.
He doesn't want
that's
to
it.
vote today.
No.
No.
18 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell the vacated east-west alley at 1809 Geneva Street, petitioner Hugo Preto. I'll move it. Are you going to abstain pretty much till after the election, or are you going to put a vote?
He just did a
Progress.
second. He's in on this one.
I'm in on this one.
Passes 5-0. 16 is a motion authorizing city staff to negotiate with Civic Smart to formulate a contract for parking enforcement system software and hardware.
I'll move it.
Second.
I had some questions about it, Dave. I just didn't know, kind of just in general questions, if we thought we should wait. I mean, we're trying the first hour free, and I understand that doesn't have as much to do with these parking meters as
No,
that one.
this is for the enforcement for the meter tenants. The issue we're having is they no longer will maintain our current handhelds.
Because of the
Because
software.
they're 20 years old.
Software issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't have you have to have an older version, the newest version of Windows you can't use that to download, the software.
Just basically a communication issue between them and the devices.
So,
Okay. I think that's the clarification I need. Thank
More
you.
Not
questions?
saying a word today.
Okay.
Your math, I can't imagine how it really worked out the way you said it did in my memo you gave me, but maybe I'm missing something, but not worth arguing about. Passes 5-0. 20 is resolution amending resolution 2017-0526 and authorizing a 90-day delay in demolition of the property at 1925 Highland Avenue. The owner is Omar Molina Maldonado. I'll move it.
Second.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi, any questions? The owner has come forward and presented a $10,000 certified check.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good job, Daryl.
Thank you.
Passes 5-0. 21 is a resolution approving a contract to Hebert Construction for demolition and removal of structure at 501 Market Street. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 22 is a resolution directing the city manager to execute a Prairie Partners cost-sharing program agreement with IDNR to establish the wildlife habitat in the Les Hills Prairie Corridor.
Move it. Second.
For the monarchs and the bride.
It is.
Monarch habitat, that's good.
Matt, I do have a
Be a
question about
massive
it that I just
orange
didn't
down
see.
there next year with all those monarchs.
Is there gonna be any signage or anything talking about this? I didn't see any thoughts or plans. Is that kind of down the road?
Matt Salvatore, Parks and Recreation Director. We actually have several signage areas and kiosks for several of the areas out there, including the prairies, so we'll have to add this one. But we have some nice educational materials out there already.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And I'm
That's one of the
thinking too,
points of
the
the park.
direction into it, because it's almost kind of hidden, you know what I mean, when you're
Yeah.
driving? People just don't know if it's open or there, and I just want to make sure that we're signing up properly.
We're not officially open yet. We're kind of passively open right now, and
We
we're,
really plant prairie grass, because it looks like weeds to me when I drive by.
it takes a while for the prairies to get established.
Looks like a lot
But
of weeds to
There's
me.
two prairies out there right now, and this will be the third and final monarch prairie.
Right below the lagoons, it looks like a lot of weeds.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do about that?
Well, we're working with the DNR. They wanted us to not mow it for the rest of the year and take a look at it next spring, and then they'll advise us on what we need to do.
God,
If it
what are you
gets
doing
choked
down
out-
there?
I can't tell you, Rhonda. You can see it as you drive by.
Okay. Just
It's
curious.
a neat little park.
Well, he's
There's
not
my
real
own-
artsy,
Private
that's why I was
fishing hole
asking.
that the city, nobody in the city knows about. but
Oh, that's.
Where are the
use
other
that.
two, Matt? The Monarch?
I have a map here. The other two prairies are native prairies.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was.
Nope.
How many acres
And you-
is this?
The monarch prairie that we're planting is only 3 acres.
Okay, so, and you talked about bees and pollination and all that, so we're not having bees, are we?
Sure you will. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, I mean us. I mean, we're not gonna be
Oh.
putting bee
Well, it
hives
won't
up.
be a threat to people if that's what you're asking.
Well, if they don't bother them, they won't be a
Right,
threat.
if people aren't running through the prairies, but it's tall grass.
I planted these kind of things. I had all kinds
But
of
here's-
monarchs.
Mm-hmm.
I planted
Here's
a
the-
couple of mine.
The two existing prairies, and the monarch prairie is going to be right here.
How many
About
acres
3
did you
acres.
say?
The monarch prairie is going to be 3 acres.
So it's all gonna be wildflowers, not prairie grass.
Correct. So the DNR has 2 different programs. They have the native prairies, which they assist with 50% of the cost of the seed, and the monarch prairie, 100% of the cost of the seed, because they're trying to reestablish the monarch
Are
population.
you gonna plant wild sunflowers as part of that too?
Let me see if they're on I have the list.
Said the different seed in there, yeah.
The seed mix was included,
Yeah, you buy it from the people up in South Dakota. I bought some.
yeah.
I didn't see sunflowers.
Probably not.
I do not see sunflowers.
Probably not, because they're not native.
Right.
Do we have beekeepers that are close to where this is gonna be?
I wondered if there was an
These are
ordinance.
naturally.
Yeah.
Is there an ordinance against having the different like hives if we wanted to?
The bees would just be buzzing from flower to flower.
You're not gonna let guys put, no. They'll naturally be there. They
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
they were at my place this summer.
Yeah.
So where are you going at next?
We created a CIP for this. We're going to look at some native prairie areas. We haven't quite established that yet, but we have several areas in mind for the
Great
native
idea.
prairie. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cut down on
You are
mowing.
working with that engineering department that fails to realize we like this type of stuff. For some reason, they haven't caught on to that. You're working with them on other areas, right?
Especially trails, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, Matt too, especially. I know we've talked about it too, but right by the Floyd Monument. I
Yes,
think
that's
would
one
be-
area on our list.
Yeah, it would be a natural.
The hill at Carlin Park, we got several areas.
Well, and I'm just thinking proximity of what you're doing too. You know, what I mean? I think it makes a lot
Cut
of
down on
sense.
some mowing.
Did we vote on that? No.
Gotta vote.
I
See, Bob, look, they're working together on it right now.
23, Partners for Fish and Wildlife Program landowner agreement for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the IDNR to establish a wildlife habitat in the Les Hills Prairie Corridor. I'll move it.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Citizen concerns. Any citizen would like to be heard, please come to the microphone and state your address and your name.
Paul Gorski, I currently live at 3132 South Oleander, at least until Wednesday. Last Monday was my last school board meeting, as you may know, and I made a comment there that I felt that the school board just doesn't get the respect that it needs from the surrounding area, period. I mentioned that some months ago there was a discussion with respect to having a meeting between the county commissioners and your city council. And I thought there was discussion between the two, but Councilman Moore corrected me on that. There was never any discussion. It was just something that the county commissioners brought up. Now, I thought that would be a very good idea, and I've thought for a long time that there needs to be a lot more collaboration, if you will, between the county commissioners, the city council, and also the school boards. But it should include, in my estimation, the small towns, the Sergeant Bluffs. They should be involved. And there's an awful lot of overlap of effort by the cities and the county that maybe, the small cities don't have enough police people. They don't have police people. So they need the county sheriff. Well, the county sheriff, they don't want to go into the city. They just want to do the county because they don't come into our city. Stuff like that. So they pay and this kind of stuff. You all need to get this all together and think, and if you get together with the county, you can work something out that this whole thing could be a whole lot more cost efficient to the taxpayers. And the schools, personally, I think we ought to incorporate every school in the county into one school district, merge them all to be a lot more cost efficient than everything else. And the Sioux City School District has things available that the Hintons and Sergeant Bluff, they're not going to be able to duplicate with respect to our career academies. So there'd be a lot of benefit to stuff like this. And anyhow, that's, you wouldn't have to hear about from me. I'll be back, don't worry.
We appreciate it, Paul, very much. I agree. I agree with you.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate you selling me the property.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Gretkin.
Just a couple of quick things. For council, I attended the Siouxland Street Project meeting last Tuesday morning, and I gave you some information that you can read at your leisure. Just to share a couple of highlights, they're moving forward with, the warming shelter will open November 1st, but they're moving forward with the day shelter. Last spring, Matt Oman and his Siouxland leadership group had a project for opening a day shelter, which was the soup kitchen, and I believe they did it for the month of April. And it worked out really well, and now the warming shelter is going to incorporate the day shelter at the warming shelter, homeless and transients, and during the day they'll have the opportunity to go to the soup kitchen. So a lot of the same board members apparently for the two groups, and they decided to move forward with that, and I think that's really a good project for them. Also, they will be hiring a manager for the day shelter. It does take. I thought I'd let you know that Four Directions, it's included in the information I provided. Four Directions will be closing their location in Sioux City. October 10th is the last day. Recently, Frank Lemire and members of the Siouxland Street Project did attend or did make a trip to Rapid City to take a look at a detox facility that the city and county up there are making, are putting together a program that they think will help them tremendously. I believe Siouxland Street Project will be watching that project very closely, and probably in the near future will be coming to the council to share their concerns and present information to the council on what recommendations they have to improve the situation with homeless and transients in the city. So I think it's been kind of a slow process. They've been meeting for over 2 years, but I think they're making some headway, And a lot of good people are still working very hard to make a difference for homeless people. Also, I just want to take a couple minutes real quick and thank Neighborhood Services. Jeff, I attended the Rose Hill meeting, or the Rose Hill Park meeting last Tuesday, and then the lead grant funds with Dan and the city manager were there on Thursday. And they all did a great job. I saw the same people at both places: Jill, Amy, Darlene, Ron, Matt, Michelle, I think, did a great job. That Rose Hill Park meeting ended up with maybe close to 75 people coming in and weighing in on what they'd like to see up there. There is some CBG money, I understand, available to do some things. And when I left, I think the majority were kind of leaning towards a splash pad. I don't know where it's going to end up, but it was really a nice group. And for all of the Neighborhood Services people, virtually all of them, I probably missed some people. If I did, I'm sorry, but they did a great job. And Dan did a great job at the lead grant funds and introducing PB Chippy. So that turned out really nice. And
was he in the costume?
Oh, no, he wasn't in the costume, but he got his picture. Trust me, he got his.
That's going to be the next thing.
But they did a great job, and I appreciate that interaction with the community is a great thing. So
Jeff, will you make
that's
sure
all
you
I
write
have.
that down, please? Thank you.
Okay, I got a couple things. First, I'm going to have a meeting with Rick Mock tomorrow and Steve Avery on doing our final draft for the Singing Hills Tower. Bob, I know you're excited about it.
You know, sometimes a 4-1 vote works for you.
It works for me all the time. So I'm happy with that. So I'm looking forward to getting that done, huh, Rick? Second of all, Ho Chunk is going to have their grand opening, I would say, for
Open house.
or open house for Virginia Square at 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Correct.
So I hope everybody can make that. It's going to be that's going to be awesome.
And they're going to be presenting an award.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be close. I got to go to Des Moines tomorrow for that liquor license reform deal.
So you're going to make
It's like a waste, 2 hours down 3 hours down for a 2-hour meeting, 3 hours home, but
What are they doing?
Yeah.
it's that, where they invited a few of us to go in and talk about talking about how we do things differently with the liquor licenses and.
How do we do things
Right?
different?
down in Des Moines, the meeting.
Why would we
tomorrow.
do things different? Well, I think one of the things I'm going to impress upon them is when this city council knows when a liquor license should not be approved. And they shouldn't just automatically turn them over.
This is
Would be
true.
one thing I would talk to them about.
Yeah, we had that one instance
agree.
we talked about.
More
Yeah.
local
Yeah.
control. What time is that?
10 to noon.
Yeah, you'll be
I'll be,
close.
I do a lot of driving, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
See which one will defend you.
They won't even give me a ticket.
We need to announce that.
Excuse me. So I would encourage anyone listening or anyone in attendance here or watching online, please make your way down there. It's a great opportunity to just have some public input and really a discussion, dialogue about where we want to go as a community, where we want to grow, what we want to see have happen. And so I'd really encourage all those people or anyone listening to attend. I know I'll be there, hopefully. The mayor, you said you were heading, maybe?
Didn't get invited.
Uh-huh.
Everybody got
Okay,
invited.
then the second one I would say also, and is the business one open or no? Huh? Sorry, Jeff.
Jeff Hansen, Community Development Operations Manager. As Alex mentioned, we do have the community workshop this evening at 6 o'clock, the Sioux City Convention Center. And then tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning at the Convention Center from 9 to 11 is the same workshop, but it's tailored more to the business owners. But it is also open. We're not going to turn anybody away.
So please, if you're a member of the business community, make sure to attend tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. at the Convention Center as well, as we said, at the Convention Center as well. Then Rhonda already mentioned the Virginia Square project. I'm excited for that as well. And also I would tell you or let you know that then on Tuesday, tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here in the council chambers will be the League of Women Voters Primary Forum. So I'm excited about that and to learn a little more about all the candidates, as should the voters of Sioux City. So hopefully a lot of people are tuning in I believe it's airing on public television, and obviously you can come here as well. Looking forward to it.
I would suggest anybody that's interested in finding about the people that are running and their ideas, they should be here. Because they will also be taking up questions, and you can put questions in if they so choose.
Yep. And I don't have a lot of information about this, and I don't know if someone can help me out with more. But is it Girls Inc.'s fundraiser is on Saturday?
Yes, I was going to talk about that because it's unusual. It's their fundraiser at Cook Park, all kinds of activities for the young people, but and the kids, but what they're doing this year is they have 2,000 golf balls. You can buy a golf ball for $25.
Buy one for me.
Or 5 golf balls for $100.
Is this gonna take a while? Cause I've got things to do tonight.
No, they're gonna load 2,000 golf balls.
I'm on the board, so I thought if you had any
Oh,
questions.
you tell us, please
2,000
do.
golf
Hannah's
balls are
doing
gonna
just
be
fine.
loaded in the helicopter. The helicopter is gonna go up in the air, and they're gonna drop 2,000 golf balls on a
Up to
target.
2,000.
In the swimming
No,
pool?
they'll have 2,000. No, it's in the swimming pool.
The skate park.
And Moore's gonna be standing in the middle of the target.
I will be.
With his hard hat on.
$5,000 is first prize. Second prize is an iPad Pro. Third prize, Sony PlayStation. It's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 2,000 golf balls in a helicopter. Can you imagine?
Don't you have a football
starts at
game at that
3?
time?
When are they dropping it, Amber?
I have a marathon in
2:30.
Chicago, though.
Oh, when are they dropping them?
I don't have the exact
Okay.
time. I'll have
I
to.
get it.
About 2:30.
Yeah.
But you can buy them from you?
Yes.
Because I thought the flyer said online only.
Online only.
I can take care of
Okay.
it for you.
Oh boy,
Yep.
we got an inside person.
1 for 25 or 5 for 100. So.
Okay.
That weeds a working man out, but what the heck?
You've lost more.
And it's
golf
also
balls.
Morningside Homecoming, so there you go.
Yeah, the mayor's lost 2,000. You've lost 2,000 golf balls in the golf course. Don't give me that.
I quit putting my name on them.
And if you're good at the city manager, you might get a sleeve of golf balls from time to time.
I don't think we have any more, do we?
That's all I had.
He can't talk.
Yeah, you can't talk.
That's all I had. Thanks
He
for
only
the
has
help,
them for
Dan.
certain council members, Ron.
Just shake your head. Do you have some?
That's all I have too, Mayor.
For your boss, do you have some?
Those of you that didn't make it to the bishop's dinner, which was all of you other than me, you missed a very nice evening. The speakers were good. The teachers were well deserving of the award, so I was glad there to go. You didn't make it to the League of Cities, and it was interesting. A lot of the forums were not really for our size city, but I did spend a little time and walk around the 2 hotels that the Restoration St. Louis did, and they are very, very impressive. So I hope they will continue to get this happening here in town. So, Matt, he's not here. Would you give us an exact time frame of trails when they can expect to be done? So if we could have like a timetable on that, it would be. I get that question probably once a week.
Most of them are next year, right? Because what I was thinking, Bob, along that line too, is if we could have a map, if there was some way to have a map and then the timetable with that, like certain colors are designated by a certain time frame or something
That
like
would
that.
be good. So,
He has the map. I don't know if the time frames are on it, but
but
there's
you can
no
color
map.
code it by the year.
Because I was thinking too, another thing, because we go to the trails a lot, was almost in the same way with the riverfront, like Plan Coming or something, or like Pardon Our Progress or whatever it puts on there. We could have some in the trail areas. I don't know, just that we're expanding. I don't know if we necessarily need to do that additional cost right now, but just something I was thinking about talking to Matt about too. Good point.
And I did see the Ferris wheel in Davenport as well. Just thought
Oh,
I'd
God.
throw that out.
What'd you think?
Did you ride it?
Yes, there's the question.
Was it working? Was it running?
Yeah. Yep.
And were they charging for it?
I didn't go that close to it.
Bob, we need information.
I'll make another trip over there sometime.
Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Capron?
Aye.
Greckin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.